Hello everybody and welcome to this tutorial. I'm going to make a Windman in Houdini and then we're going to go back to Unity and do the rigging with damp transform, and we're going to do some script to help us out to do the rigging a little bit faster, and we're also going to have script to rotate it so it feels like it's windy like it is that you see on the screen here. And we're going to make the shader as well. And if you are a member on Patreon, here you can get all the files on different tutorials that I made, so you can poke around and figure out how stuff is set up and so forth. But of course, if you want, you can just follow the tutorials and figure out everything yourself. So in the scene here, you can see they are rigged. So they are, we're going to use this to animate them, and they are controlled here with shader. So these tops here, they are kind of animated in the shader, and it makes a really nice effect. So this is what we're gonna do. So let's get started. And we're gonna start from an empty scene, and I have that one here. And in this tutorial, we will not be in Unity actually. We will just do the Windman, but I'm going to use this folder to save everything. So in Houdini, I'm just going to do save as, and I have it set up here. So I'm going to save it. So now it's saved here. So that's perfect. So all my files will be saved here. And we're going to have a geometry node, and what we're going to do this setup with a spline. So if we look on this here, we're going to make spline and spline for the arms, and that's going to kind of be the body. So the first thing, I'm just going to make a line, and we're going to make sure that this line is pointing upwards, and it is by default. And we're going to have it like 5 units or something like that. And then we're going to have a resample. The reason we want the resample is because we're going to kind of decide the resolution with this one. So I'm going to have it like maximum segment like this instead. So I think 14 is pretty good. And we also going to have a small line, like pretty small one. And it's going to be the tip, because I want some extra resolution on the top here. You see this rounding here. So what I'm doing here is like this small piece here, and we have the big one here. I'm just going to place it on the top. And the way to do that, I'm going to have a match size like this, and then in here. So I'm not going to move the X or Z, but the minimum of this small one going to be on the maximum on the second input. So we're going to do the maximum here. Now you see it's on the top, and that's great. So now we can just merge these ones. So now we have it here, and so we're going to fuse here. And now they are fused. So here we have 17 points, and here it should be 16. And we have 2 primitives, and we only want it once. So we're going to use the join like this. And now here we have only 1 primitives, but here we have 2. So we actually want more resolution on the top. That's why we do this small part. So I'm just going to add a little bit here. Now you see, now we have more resolution up here. And the reason we want more resolution is because we want to have this rounding smooth. So when we have sweep here, and I'm just going to use, the second input is going to be a round 2. Now, up here, if we do this apply scale along curve, and we change this one to be Bezier, and also this one going to be in Bezier. So now if we take this one a little bit down, and then we add 2 ones here. Now we can smooth this better. And I'm actually gonna take this one, maybe make it a little bit smaller. And also in the sweep, I'm gonna do radius to 0.25 maybe. So yeah, it's a little bit smoother. And maybe I can open it up here like this. So yeah. And yeah, I think that's gonna be okay. Like that. Maybe not that small hole, maybe like this. So that's gonna be nice, and I'm gonna go for that. So this is kind of the base. So if we just do like ROP FBX, let's see, I have my notes here. So at the end, we're gonna have this ROP FBX character output, and yeah, we need the spline, the capture pose. I'm not gonna do this now. I was planning to save it out and show how it is in Unity, but I'm gonna skip that. So I'm just gonna continue doing this. So we want the arms, and so we can call this one the body. Now we're gonna have a line here too, and this is gonna be the arm. And I'm gonna have it in the direction of X. So if we reference this and do the arm here, we see they are here. And if we look at this one here, you can see the dots here. So I'm actually going to move this one to be, let's see, I would like to see the dots too. So I can control click here. So if I take this one and I move it up, so let's say here, now we know that the arm's going to be in this level. So that's nice. So that's how we can decide arms. And we're also going to have this as a resample. So now we can have the resolution on this one too. So we're at the moment, we're only doing the mesh. We're not doing the bones yet. We're going to do that in the next tutorial. So when we have this, we can use the sweep node on this one too. And if we do the second input to be a round tube, and I'm going to apply a little bit scale, so it's actually smaller at the end, and maybe a tiny bit like this. And then we just do mirror, and if we look at this one here, then actually we can reference this one, and then we look at this one. So now we have the body, and here when we do the mirror, we get the other side too. So that's nice. And then we can just do offset this line a little bit. So we're gonna put it like this, and I want them to intersect a bit because we're gonna use a Boolean. Here it is, because we're gonna combine these two. So if we look here, now by default, we are deleting or subtract, but we're going to do union. And with union, now we see that they are merged like this. So this is perfect. This is what we want. And then we're going to do a subdivide to make it a little bit smoother. So now we kind of have a smoother transition here with the arms, and that's going to be much nicer, so it feels a little bit more balloony. So if you look at these corners here, so that's nice. And yeah, I think that's going to be good enough. And then we're going to have a color for this one. And the reason we need color is because we're going to do it in the shader. We're going to define different attributes depending on the colors. So now when this is black, we will treat it as the black part. And then we're going to have colors on the flappy thing here. So they're going to have some kind of noise and flap around. And maybe we want to change stuff here. So the line, we can do a little bit bigger arms. I think this is going to be better. Yeah, that's going to be nice. So let's take care of this flappy stuff that we're going to have. So we're going to have, if we take the first thing, we're going to have some flappy stuff going on here. And the way I'm going to do that, I'm just going to do this group. And in this one, by default, everything is selected. But if we remove this here, now nothing is selected. And if we do, instead of primitives, we do edges. And then in edges, we do unshared edges. And that means this edge is not shared with anything else. So this edge here, that's shared between these two primitives. But this edge here is only used by one primitive, so that is unshared edges. So that's nice, and now we have actually selection down there and up there, because yeah, they are both unshared. So we're gonna make another one here, a group again, and now everything is selected, but we're gonna change back to edges, and then base group gonna be group 1 that we made. So now we have the same thing again. Now we're going to have keeping bounding regions. If we do a bounding box, now you see we only have this here selected, but we want the top. So we want this box to be on the top. We could just move it up like this. But instead we're just going to use some little bit script. So I'm going to use this bbox. And now you can read here. So it's want an input, and then it wants a value here. So we're going to do 0 because we want the 0 input. And then we're going to do di max. So that's the one we're going to use. Di max. And now, you see, now we have the center to always be on the top. So even though we changed the body's height here, we always select the top part. So that's great. So when we have that, we use this edge group. So if you don't find this one, you need to install the labs. Where is it? Yeah, you need a labs shelf. Where is it? It's somewhere. Is it here? Shelves. You need to have this hello side effects labs. You need this one installed. And then you have some extra tools. So yeah, so that's a really good one. And now when you have this one, we can just take the group 2. And the group 2 is what we made here. So now we have this ring up here. So that's great. So what we're going to do, we're going to make a poly extrude. And if we do like this, and then we extrude, it's kind of extrude outwards, and that's not really what we want. So if we do a wrangler, and on the points, we just do at n as normals, and then we just set the normal. And the reason we do that is because now we set the normal is upwards. So now we have the normals upwards on this line here. Now when we made this one. So now when we extrude, instead of extruding outwards, we're going to follow the point normal. Now you see it's extruding upwards. So that's great. And then we're just going to remove every second primitive. So we just use, so this is set normal for extrude up. And this is going to be remove every second prim. So here, if we do like this, if at primnum, I think it's modulo. Is it? And I don't know what you say, but this is percentage sign modulo, I think it is. You say, I always forget it. But if you do it like this, and every time you divide it by 2 and it turns out to be 0, I think I'm explaining it correct. If it's 0, then we're going to remove the prim. That's going to go primnum, and so here we have 0 is the first input here. And then we're going to have remove the current prim if this part is true. And then this is remove the points, I believe. So now we see we only have every second prim. And yeah. And the last part, we need to set the flappy stuff, because if you look here, you see that they are flapping around, but they are stuck on the edge. So we need to address that. And the way to do that is to use a wrangler. And here, if we do set flappy color. So what we need to do, we need to get the minimum eye position and the maximum eye position. And then we're going to make a color red lerp from 0 to 1. So in this one, first we need to do the min. So that's get b box min. And we're going to have the first input like this. Come on, yeah. So now we're taking the minimum I value. So here is going to be equal. Then I'm going to float max is equal to, now we do the maximum instead here. So that's the maximum. So this is the minimum. And now when we have it, we just do the value. It's going to be, so this fit is a remap node in a way. So we're going to do the eye position, and if we do the min and max, and then we input the minimum and maximum, and the output we want it to be between 0 and 1. So do like this, and now we just do the color to be we're going to do set, and we're going to do the value in the red, then we're going to just leave the others alone. So now we have, here we see from 0 to 1. And you can see here that it's also a little bit resolution on it, otherwise it will just be like low resolution. And so we're going to have this poly one to add some divisions to it like this too. So we can just actually color these ones red, because this one going to represent the red part. So yeah, and then we're going to, when we have it like this, we're just going to do a merge. And this one turned out to go downwards, and we don't want that. So we're just going to do this one upwards instead. Perfect. All right, so we're going to continue on this one, but this is how far we went on this tutorial. So see you in the next tutorial, and thank you so much for watching.